Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the SaaS Scale podcast. I'm your host, Ali Jamal. Our guest today is Tamara Kostova, CEO of Velexa. Tamara brings more than 20 years of experience leading strategy and innovation at global institutions such as UBS, Deutsche Bank, and DXC Technology. Today, she leads Velexa, a fast-growing embedded investing platform recognized among the Wealth Tech 100 and recently awarded Best Trading Technology Solution Provider and the Startup of the Year in 2024. Tamara, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction as well, Alim. It's my pleasure and honor to be on the podcast with you.
All right. Okay. So let's start with your background. You have had such a rich career journey from senior leadership roles at some of the world's biggest banks and fintech firms to now leading Velexa. Can you start by telling us about your journey and what led you to become CEO of Velexa?
It's a wonderful question to start. I want to share with you in the audience is that I think everything that I have done in my professional career led me to Velexa. And ultimately, Velexa is the platform for me expressing my personal voice and my personal mission, which is to improve and increase financial literacy around the globe and support people feel less intimidated by finance. I personally started my career on the trading floor. I have graduated finance and banking. I never left the industry, so I was a trader in the first decade of my life. And interestingly, for a very lengthy period, I didn't trade on my own account. I didn't invest my own money. And there were lots of questions that I was trying to raise to myself is why I am feeling so conservative or not comfortable enough to manage my own funds. And I was thinking is if I feel like that, what about people that have not graduated in finance and banking, that have never actually had a financial education or financial management courses? How do they feel about taking that investing journey on their own? So this is how Velexa was born. Velexa was born out of really a clear market gap and need, specifically to support people understanding how to manage proactively their finances, to grow their funds and wealth, and feel comfortable that they're making the right decision for that.
Right. What an interesting story. So for those new to Velexa, what exactly does your platform offer and what problem exactly are you solving at a larger scale?
Velexa is a technology company, a wealth tech. Wealth tech is a fintech in the wealth management space, disrupting the way how the services in the industry are being delivered. So we are on a mission to make investing and wealth management services available to everyone. When the company was launched, my main objective was really to build very intuitive, very personalized investing solutions that could help even a nascent investor, somebody who hasn't started even the investing journey, to embrace ultimately trading and investing. What problem are we solving? Globally, less than 10% of adults actually trade and invest.
Right.
And the statistics even show that the active ones are even less than 5%. Since COVID, there is more than $63 trillion of wealth in the hand of these people that are actually not investing. So this is actually cash being stranded in saving accounts, being stranded in different liquid assets or in real estate. So the challenge for us was really, how do we get this mass retail, mass affluent now individuals converted from savers into investors? How do we actually present to them the story of why investing is so important, what means compounding, and how do they make money, and build a user journey that could help them feel less intimidated to start that. In order to drive impact, I was certain that the proposition should be really built with partners. So we are a B2B2C shop. In reality, our solutions are being utilized by financial institutions, banks, neobanks, brokerage houses that would like to embed investing and trading services into their offerings. And that ultimately partnership with financial institutions help us to drive much bigger impact across various jurisdictions, across various regions around the globe. Initially, and I want to share this with you, I think fellow founders will relate to that. Our mission statement within the first 1 year evolved quite quickly because we started really with the main objective is we want to democratize the access. So we want to provide the access to the services to a much larger customer segment. But what we realized very, very quickly along the journey together with our customers is that if you do not educate that end investor about how they start investing, the service, the utilization, the adoption of the service will never really materialize simply because people don't feel confident.
So I would just like to ask that you're saying a lot of people, they put money in the savings banks. What are the key reasons people find it difficult to, invest?
The first and main reason for the lack of adoption of investing services is lack of financial education.
Right.
The fact that we are not being taught at school of how to manage our finances is critical. I think that if we look at statistics, somewhere between 80 to 90% of adults will share that they feel completely intimidated by a financial user journey. And the reason for that is the lack of financial education. I think that we on the wealth tech side have taken it as our mission to ultimately drive more financial education, more financial literacy embedded within our user experience. But the reality is that I think there is a much wider and broader agenda that I see also on a government level to push for early school financial education being introduced in government programs. I want to, I'm usually using the following statement. I think now we're in kind of a perfect storm being created around embedding investing in our daily lives. So first of all, we see more wealth being accumulated in the hands of mass retail, mass affluent investors. We do see that they have now the proactive desire to invest. And on the other hand, what we're seeing is that there are certain governments that are introducing the agenda of really driving more mass retail to participate into the capital markets journey. And we see that in the European Union with the Investment and Savings Union that has been announced in February, where one of the key objectives is to have more mass retail participating into the capital market space, the same agenda we see in Japan and etc. So I think that the more we work with government, the more governments actually understand how important it is to improve financial education, the more impact we can drive by adding such kind of courses and in the curriculum program, even in early school education.
I agree. So financial education is very important. And you have used this term embedding a lot in your statement. So for our listeners, I would like you to answer this. So in simple terms, what does embedded investing really mean?
Embedded investing is kind of a part of a much broader notion of embedded finance. But ultimately, this is consuming, investing services in your daily user experience. So basically, in the daily application that you use, either to purchase a coffee, for example, or purchase your supermarket groceries. So ultimately, embedding investing in the user experience that we consume on a daily basis, that user experience is provided by a non-financial institution. So by a non-bank or a non-brokerage house. If we look at the embedded finance, what we have seen a lot is the development of embedded payments. We all talk about that, Ali. I think almost on every continent, we have so many examples of us paying via a non-financial services provider online via very, very user-friendly application. Embedded insurance is something that we have seen also on the rise. Specifically, I give you an example. Tesla was the one that introduced embedding insurance into their user journey. You buy a car and automatically you embed the insurance in there. However, embedded investing, it's a notion that it's still not widely kind of implemented,
Mm.
simply because very few adults around the globe invest. So the idea is, how do we actually embed that investing user experience in this daily kind of application that each one of use? I usually use something which most probably sometimes sounds a little bit controversial, but I
Mm.
want investing to be as easy as buying a coffee. So you
Wow.
understand you want to buy a Tesla share the same way you buy your coffee at Starbucks.
So one of the thing I find most exciting about your organization is to focus on opening doors for new group of investors. How does Velexa make investing easier, especially for the first-time investors, younger people, or those in the emerging market?
It's a wonderful question. I think that the majority of our R&D and innovation goes into that space. Again, as I shared, what we're trying to tackle is a staggering statistics, like 90% of people feeling intimidated by finance.
Right.
So, especially by investing. So, how do you actually build applications? How do you embed an investing experience so that you make them feel comfortable and ready to take that investing user experience? And this is where I believe we drive, this is our USP, and we drive a major advancement within the wealth management space, is that we build personalized,
Mm.
curated user experience depending on the end investor. Depending on, for example, who is Tamara, what is my risk appetite, am I a conservative investor, what is my goal savings objective? And based on that, based on my knowledge also about the market, then you're curating a user experience. And
Right.
that user experience will depend on your profile. And you absolutely correctly mentioned Gen Zs invest very differently than the millennials, for example.
Correct.
They have a totally different concept of in which company they would invest, how this company, for example, is addressing their sustainability principles. So they will look at investment in a very different way. So my view is that investing should be very personalized to the extreme, based on your investing appetite and, of course, education and savings objectives.
Most
So
most
this
of the
is
Gen Zs, they are not even thought about risk tolerance and risk appetite. That's why you see them investing in crypto.
You're mentioning something about the Gen Zs. We all have seen the rise of influencers, and these are financial influencers on TikTok. They have amassed millions of followers on TikTok
Yes.
because the Gen Zs are eager to proactively manage their funds, and they want to find information. And the fact that they couldn't find this information embedded in any other basically user experience, it created that vacuum, and then that vacuum was filled by
Right.
influencers.
Right.
So you're absolutely right that actually there is quite a lot of development, and depending on the customer segment and the customer group, we're seeing a totally different adoption of investing.
Thanks for sharing your vision, really. And I would like to dig a little bit more deeper into your platform. Uh, so does your platform support things like fractional investing and thematic portfolios?
It's a very good question. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you what we do. So, our main objective is to provide the full turnkey solution investing platform to our customers. Our
Mm.
customers being financial institutions, brokerage houses, fintech
Mm.
players that would like to embed, as we discussed, investing into their existing services. Our idea is that we provide this turnkey solution, which could ultimately cover everything from front to back investing brokerage services, from the front meaning very much curated, personalized front ends to a very comprehensive back end who could support any type of asset classes around the globe. So in reality, we are completely agnostic in terms of the asset class that is going to be traded on our platform. We have more than 56 exchanges being integrated. So we can cover everything from traditional asset classes to digital asset classes on the platform. But you're absolutely right that one of the key technological, let's put, innovations that we have been driving in the industry is, first of all, fractionalization. So absolutely having the opportunity to fractionalize a stock, fractionalize a bond, allow more mass retail or mass affluent customer to enter into that user journey. So even if you have $100, you would be able to start the investing journey. So absolutely yes. So that has been one of our key innovation. Something that I also wanted to flag to you is that I have been very much invested myself in driving our footprint in the GCC region. And one of the key features and products on our roadmap was to build, for example, a fully digital Sharia-compliant investing platform, which will allow an individual who would like to invest according to the Sharia law to make it in confidence. So we have been building these different type of solutions and user experience, as you mentioned, fractionalization, model portfolios, a Sharia-compliant investing to be able to serve different customer segments, starting from mass retail to mass affluent, different jurisdictions, different religion, different ethical principles.
Since you talked about it, so let's talk about your success story in Bahrain. So you recently collaborated with Ajaid Capital in Bahrain to scale digital Sharia-compliant investing. So can you tell us more about that?
It's an exciting partnership for us with an investment firm fully Sharia-compliant, regulated by the Central Bank of Bahrain, and quite forward-thinking, I will put, in terms of the leadership and in terms of the strategy. So they have been really aiming to build that very innovative, modern, digital, fully digital, as I mentioned, Sharia-compliant investing solutions for any investors in the GCC region. So we partnered together last December. We are going live now in Q4 of this year, piloting compliant Sharia solution, offering access to global markets, but also to the local markets in the GCC region. The partnership with Ziad is very strategic for us at Velexa because I think it's exciting to see on a company level how two organizations can share the same mission statement. Yes, how do we actually educate more people to feel comfortable managing their finances? How do we offer these very intuitive, personalized investing solutions? So it's an exciting journey for us simply because you partner with an organization that shares the same mission and ambition to drive change into this space and to have way much more inclusive, let's put it like that, finance.
It's an interesting journey in the GCC region. So, of course, as you expand across regions, regulation is always a critical challenge. How does your organization adopt and ensure compliance when entering new markets like GCC?
In our first 18 months, we were able to expand several continents within now 11 jurisdictions. And the biggest challenge, as you mentioned, is exactly that. How do you actually ensure that you're compliant in terms of the local regulations and the local jurisdictions? GCC brings its own flavor as well, because within certain organizations, as with our customer in Bahrain, you also need to comply with the Sharia Advisory Board. And it's a journey. If I had a magic wand and kind of provide a very simplistic answer, I don't think there is one. I think that it requires a very thorough due diligence. It requires a very thorough understanding and work with our partners in every new jurisdiction and with the regulator to be able ultimately to shape the proposition.
Right.
In the case of Bahrain, we received an approval from the Central Bank of Bahrain to provide, in reality, outsourcing services for mission critical type of an engagement. So it requires a certain level, of course, of scrutiny, and I am very proud because on the Velexa board we have a lady sitting on it who is responsible for our risk and compliance function, and I have always been challenged of why a wealth tech company, a tech company, will have ultimately a head of governance, risk, and compliance sitting on the board, simply because we understand how important it is to offer services in a highly regulated environment, and especially on the investing front.
Mm. Makes sense. So I would like to get your input about AI as well. Everybody is talking about AI. It's influencing every industry. Where do you see the balance between automation and human guidance in investing now?
It's a very good question. If you have asked me 6 months ago, I would have answered most probably slightly different. I first of all truly believe that with the approval now with regulators around the globe, we are going to be able to see AI implemented into our investing applications. And so far, and let me just explain for the audience, for certain regulators, the usage of AI into an investing app, it's considered as an advice, and for that, our customers require a separate license.
Right, right.
What, however, we see is that lots of investors are actually going to ChatGPT or Gemini, and they're already inquiring about their investing user journey and how do they make money. So for us, the usage of AI into a digital investing experience is just considered as another intelligent tool to be able ultimately to support making an investor less intimidated, making this investor feeling more comfortable that the user journey is curated, he gets the right content, the right information exactly at the right time. So we are working to bring more AI and analytics in our investing applications in order, as I shared with you, to curate and personalize the investing user experience. Highly likely in months from now, we are going to see investing agents, notifications. So you have a digital twin that you're talking to about how do you trade and etc. That's something actually that we are currently playing with. But in reality, when we talk about money management, we know that one of the key challenges is trust, and people would like to have the possibility to touch and get in touch with a human advisor. So I think that there would be a hybrid approach, especially in the next couple of years, as we see more and more people converting from savers into investors. I think you're going to see a much more enhanced, personalized digital user experience in that space. But I think that the need of or the demand for talking to a human advisor will stay there. So it would be very much of a hybrid approach.
Yeah, so the hybrid approach is one of the best approach. Before we close, I would love for our listeners to know how they can connect with you and Velexa. What is the best way for people to reach out to you or learn more about Velexa?
Ali, thank you. First of all, I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity and your platform to share my views and share who we are. You can always reach out to us on LinkedIn, on our Velexa page, or me personally, Tamara Kostova. I'll be more than happy to have conversations really of how do we make investing more accessible in the GCC region and around the globe. And I do hope that also the two of us will have an opportunity to collaborate on that front in the very near future.
Yeah, we will have few more sessions, targeting the GCC market. So Tamara, thank you so much for joining us today. We have covered how Velexa is opening up investing for younger generations, first-time investors, and underserved markets, and how embedded investing is shaping the future of finance. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep innovating and keep building the future of finance. Tamara, thank you again for joining today. I really enjoyed learning about Velexa's journey and your vision for democratizing investing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.